One of the things that helped me to succeed at everything I've ever done was the fact I stuck to things. I didn't quit. I had that sort of stick to it, don't quit. Just like I said before, when I was saying you don't win by giving up or by quitting. I think a lot of people have learned that lesson in life to just quit. When the going gets tough, they just quit. When things get hard, they abandon ship. Like there are people who get in a marriage, and if they see it isn't working, instead of putting some effort into it to make the relationship work, they abandon ship. They heading for the first lifeboat. It's like some people, if they see a job doesn't work, they quit. There are people who will stick with you through thick and thin. See, I would imagine if I had got married, let's say when I left high school, let's say I got married, let's say as soon as I turned 18, I was still in high school, get married. And I stay married to my wife even to this day, and our relationship is still going. We have several kids together. I'm just imagining. And I think, all we can see in the future is just us together. You're not even thinking about anybody else. She's not thinking about anybody. We got each other. That's all we need. In a situation like that, you just think that's a dream situation in a funny way. Because even you just got this partner who sticks with you through everything, through the tough times, through the good times, the bad. See, even the wedding vows themselves, through sickness and health, through richer or poor. In other words, we stick together no matter what. This becomes the one common denominator, is through the good times, the bad times. We stay together. And just like the wedding vow says, forsaking all others. Nobody else is going to get between us. It's just me and you. I've only got eyes for you. It's like all the corny love songs. It's like every belief in a love song. I'll climb a mountain for you. To have you, I'll stay naked, stoned, and stabbed. In other words, you just don't say, like the guy said, the African guy, what he said with the fairy tale thing, where he climbed the mountain, he did killed the dragon, did the. He said, well, the guy said, why didn't he just find another woman? Sometimes in life, there are situations like that. Why not just find another person? Something's not working, just quit. If you get in a job and you realize you get treated like crap the first day, the boss is all up your ass, and many people will get into a job like that. But, especially in tough economic times, you stick to a job like that. Because you figure, okay, this is bad, but something else could be worse. The alternatives are worse. It's like the smelly lifeboat, as I said before. If you're in a smelly lifeboat, normally if you were like going across the river or just on the, stroll on let's say a smelly rowboat, and that's not even a lifeboat. You're going across this shallow lake that's so shallow you can walk across it. But you get in this really smelly boat. You say, oh, no, I don't want that. Say, could you give me another boat? Because this one smells like, ooh, God. And say, yeah, you're right. That smells nasty. Yeah, take this other one. This one is better. Yeah, because you got an alternative. You can just get up out of this boat and walk into the next. It would be nice if you were in a situation where you could just do that. I'm just thinking, what if I could do that in my job? Forget about money. What if I was in a situation where I could just quit the university and go to another place and keep all the benefits, all the medical benefits, everything, or I can go to another job and the benefits would be the same. It's no difference. It just, in other words, you could just move one. Yeah, then it'd be a different story. But one thing is, you have to stay in a smelly lifeboat because the alternative, there is an alternative. You could quit. You could always quit. You could always jump out of this smelly lifeboat, but you're going to jump into the icy cold waters of the Atlantic and you're going to die. If you want to live, you stay in this lifeboat. If you want to live, you stay here. I mean, you don't have an alternative. You don't have anything else. You don't have another option. See, one of the things I think about is, when you're in a relationship, it can be like that. Whether it's a job relationship, like your relationship to your job, or a relationship to another person. If you don't really have an alternative, you got to stick with it. You got to stick with this smelly lifeboat. you got to stay in there. Because you figure the alternative is worse. You know, for some people, the pain of being lonely is just, you know, you don't stay with this person because you love them. You stay with them because the alternative is worse. There are a lot of people in relationships like that. They'll stay in a marriage because the thought of not being married is worse. Being on your own is worse. Having to be by yourself is worse. The prospects are worse. Sometimes I found in life that there are many a time when I feared things, and then when something happened, it turned out not to be as bad. You know, when I went to Scotland, I wasn't really afraid, you know, like when the insulin incident, which I talked about, which I don't think I've ever talked about that on YouTube, but the incident that happened in Scotland. You know, but when that happened, when the guy froze my insulin, the thing was that I had tried to work out every possible problem that could come up traveling, you know, with insulin. And I thought of every problem, from the security situations to what if my insulin pump broke down while in mid-flight, what are you going to do, you know, and everything else. Hey, you have backups and whatever. But here was a situation where it fucked up all my backups, you know. That guy froze my insulin, the primary insulin, plus my backup pins. And I had nothing. And I still had like 5 or 6 days to go on this trip. It's like, okay, I'm in trouble. Because there's no way I'm going to make it without, I got to have insulin. Otherwise, I'm going to be sick and maybe even die, you know. Because my sugar goes up, my body starts using all the fat in my body. Next thing you know, I got ketoacidosis. I'm going to get sick and could potentially die from this. So the thing is that I had to fix this problem. But it turned out to be simple. Yeah, it was a bit time consuming. I had to get on the phone and talk to this person and that person, and talk to nurses and doctors and whatnot, and they had to get a prescription. And the people were very nice. They were very friendly and everything. But, you know, still, it was, you know, and it wasn't, because I actually thought it was going to be worse. I thought, oh God, I thought they were going to have to take me to the hospital. I thought I was going to have to be examined by doctors. I figured, okay, you know, I know they got free health care, but I thought I was going to be waiting in line forever. And I thought they were going to hand me a bill because, well, you're not a citizen of Britain, so you have to pay all this money. You know, I just thought it was going to be a big mess. And it turned out to be simpler than I thought. Dealing with the problem was a lot easier than I thought. Sometimes what you imagine about something and what things turn out to be can be two different things. All of us, to a large extent, are ignorant about the future. We don't know. But one thing that makes a difference in how we deal with something is something we could predict, and that's our attitude. If you got a positive attitude, you're more likely to have a positive outcome, not for some magical or supernatural reason, but because you're willing to stick to it and you're willing to do things, and you're willing to, especially you're more like me, you're going to be very diplomatic about things, you're going to be thoughtful about things, you're going to know, somehow things just fall into place for reasons that are even understandable, not magical reasons in some, you know, supernatural sense of it, but for reasons that are very practical. Having the right attitude makes a big difference in how you deal with problems. It does make a difference. That's why I think a positive attitude is a good thing. It's a very good thing. It's the most useful tool you got. That's all I can say.